You are listening to the Motherhood Unstressed podcast, and I'm your host, Liz Carlisle. Welcome back. Welcome to another fresh week. I hope your day is off to a fabulous start. Personally, I am so excited because the boys are back in school in a week, and we have had just an amazing summer. I know that, if I hadn't left my government job, I never would have been able to spend this special time with them. We've done a ton of activities. We've had so much fun. And I'm just really grateful, thank God the CBD line took off. Thank goodness that, the speaking is going well and, this podcast is doing well and getting sponsors and things like that. Because without that, I would definitely not be able to experience all that. That said, being a work from home mom is incredibly difficult, and, being fully engaged in your work while also, doing all the things with the kids is crazy hard. And so that's been kind of an interesting process this summer. But I think the boys are definitely ready to be back in school too. Little DC is going off to pre-K next year, so he'll be at the elementary school, which is just so crazy to think about. But it is what it is, and I know that the boys are ready. But speaking of speaking, my TEDx went live this past week, and it's already over 3,000 views, which just blows my mind. So thank you so much if you have been one of the ones watching it and sharing it out to your network. I mean, that just means the world to me. And that's really the only way that I can really share it out, because Facebook took down my advertising capabilities because of the CBD line. When I first came out with the line, I was trying to promote it, and they didn't like that. So I tried to appeal it, and they were still like, nope, not going to happen. So really, it's because you guys have been sharing it and sending it out that people are actually seeing it. So thank you. But on to the show. I am so excited to bring to you my guest today. Her name is Heather Grimaldi. She is the founder of Proof Positive ABA Therapies, which is an organization that is dedicated to treating autism through behavior therapy. And then she's also the founder of Simple Spectrum, which is a nutritional supplement company which uses just really high quality nutritional supplements to help people with autism fill those gaps that they need in their diet. So this was really a fun show to do because I don't know that much about autism, and I wanted to ask her all of the questions that people who maybe just got a diagnosis would ask, starting basically from ground zero. What do you do? What's the first thing that you do? Where do you go? So she gives just so many great resources for someone who is, just receiving this diagnosis, and she leaves a lot of room for hope too, because she says that kids lose that diagnosis all the time through behavior therapy and proper nutrition and all of that. So that was really incredible for me to hear. So I'm really excited for you to listen in. I'm not going to tell you too much more. Again, if you love the show, please share it out. I love it when you share it on Instagram. And if you haven't already, please leave us a 5-star review. That does so much for the rankings and just means so much to me. So without further ado, enjoy the show. Hello, Heather. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here to enlighten us all about the work that you're doing and really creating change in the autism community. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Such an honor. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So let's go way back. How did you even begin to get into this type of work?
Okay. So, a lot of people ask that. And I was probably about 16, 17, at a more impressionable age. I had a cousin that was diagnosed with autism. And this was, that would have been like 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, you didn't really hear that much about autism. And I was very interested in that and became very interested in that world. I actually ended up volunteering at group homes when I was in high school. And then I graduated high school, got into the psychology field and volunteered at Center for Autism and Related Disorders. And I just was so passionate about helping adults with autism, when I was at group homes, adults with autism and Down syndrome, and then just helping kids with autism after volunteering. And I just became so passionate about this and helping families.
And now a quick break with a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Motherhood Unstressed CBD. This is the organic USA-grown CBD line that I created with the intention of helping you, the listener, battle stress, anxiety, get better sleep, feel better, be your best self each and every day. You can purchase yours at motherhoodunstressed.com or at stores around. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So take us through, obviously you focus a lot on diet and why that's so important when dealing with someone with autism. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I became passionate about the world of autism and then ended up getting my master's in psychology and then my BCBA, which is board certified behavior analyst, and just became so just interested in like all about behaviors and understanding why behaviors are happening. And I was, like I said, I was then actually working at a few different ABA companies, and I saw a lot of companies out there that didn't have much standards, I guess, for who they were kind of hiring. And so I wanted to start an ABA company that was hiring therapists that had, just better standards and more schooling, because I was a firm believer that I'd rather have no therapy than a bad therapist come out. And when I started my company, SB 946 hadn't passed yet. Insurance wasn't paying for ABA. Now it's something in 2013, insurance started paying for ABA, and it was like a game changer for ABA companies. Before, I'll kind of go back to this, but I was literally myself and this amazing woman, Michelle Rimmer. She wrote a book on how to get insurance to pay for ABA. Would literally spend hours on the phone speaking with insurance companies trying to get insurance to pay for ABA for families, because it was ridiculous. It just was not something that happened then. And so I was kind of around that when all that was happening. And then SB 946 passed in 2013, and my ABA company just blew up. And I just always had the motto of, I'm just so passionate about helping families and making every employee feel like they're my number one employee, every client feeling like they're my number one client. And we just blew up. I feel like every therapist treated this company, my company, Proof Positive ABA Therapies, like it was their own company, and was so passionate about it. And it was so amazing. And we ended up selling to the largest ABA company in the world, Autism Learning Partners, November 2016, on the day I went in labor with my second daughter.
Right.
So it was a real fun story of that one.
Talk about, transition.
Exactly. Wow. Actually, one of the reasons I sold my ABA company is because that was my second daughter at that time, but I became so far removed from what I loved doing, which was helping families. Owning a company, they got so big right before we sold, I want to say we were around 800 employees.
Wow.
So it was very large. And I was just so far removed from that. I felt like I was like the workman's comp master, HR master, just doing things that a business owner does and less helping families. And that's just where I wanted to be. So
then where did you go after that then?
So after that, I kind of took a little break for a little bit and, focused on family stuff. I work with a few nonprofits, talk about curing autism, and now they're the Autism Community in Action. They're amazing. I've worked with them, done a lot of volunteering with them. I'm helping with their Annie Up for Autism. I actually was just named as their ambassador. And such an honor. Actually, it was just released today in a few different papers and on their website as well. So that's such an honor. I work with Autism Hope Alliance, Kristen Selby, and then Lisa Ackerman from TACA. They're both just wonderful, inspirational women. And so I just do a lot of stuff with them and just very involved in the autism community and helping families and kind of just giving back. And then, so this is where I get to the nutrition side of stuff. So one thing that I noticed a lot is I noticed having an ABA company, I'd noticed these families that, I'm all about intensive ABA. A child gets a diagnosis early. You want early intervention starting early. And I would see these families going to DAN doctors, Defeat Autism Now doctors, or MAPS doctors. And these doctors are private pay doctors, super expensive, really long wait list. They're straight up countries that don't have access to treatment like this or doctors like this. And they'd go to these doctors and get on just a really good supplement, and they'd see a night and day difference. But these supplements are so expensive. It's just not realistic for most families. It's like $100 or $200 a month and a bunch of different supplements. So actually, after seeing that, what I did is I met with a biomedical doctor, Dr. Kristen Shea. She has her functional medicine background as well. And we created this supplement, and it's all based on scientific research. It's actually based on a lot of the research of Dr. James Adams from the Autism Research Center. And he's just doing some amazing things. He actually just did some stuff on fecal transplants in children with autism, but he is just pioneering that field and absolutely amazing. But we based a product on a lot of his research and some other scientific research. There's actually another article released lately, Autism Speaks funded, about vitamin B deficiencies being linked to speech delays. And so we created this supplement, and honestly, there's no gimmick, nothing behind it other than the fact that we say it's simple. It's the highest quality vitamins and minerals in the best forms. Like your typical supplement, it doesn't have a lot of it's not third-party tested and has a lot of junk and other stuff in it. And this is just the highest quality vitamins and minerals and the most bioavailable. So
why was the one from the other doctor so much more expensive?
So what we are actually trying to do is we are trying to go straight to consumer, not to clinicians. So we were just at MAPS conference, the Medical Association of Pediatric Special Needs. We had so many doctors interested in selling our products, and they can mark them up. So we sell them to them and they mark it up. And so what I'm wanting to do is we send it straight to families, and it's only $45 opposed to a doctor's office that buys it and then marks it up. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of what we're trying to change and make a little difference, because we've just been hearing, I don't know if you had a chance to see some of our reviews, but they're crazy. They're so crazy that I literally have to doctor some of them to I don't want the FDA coming after us, that kind of stuff. No, it really is true. It's crazy, some of the stuff. I had someone that said something about that their daughter was talking so much more and had they wasn't having seizures. And I'm like, please don't say that, because we don't want someone to not get off their seizure medication and anything like that. But they've been seeing crazy results just from really good vitamins and the highest quality and the best forms. I have two daughters, a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. My 6-year-old, she has sensory issues. She's been in ABA since she was younger. Honestly, we created this product also because I didn't see something like that. I looked at companies I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about other companies. They're actually a great company, Smarty Pants, and they're a company that actually third-party tests. But it was really hard to find companies that third-party test, and that's showing what is actually in your product is actually in your product. Right. And it's tested by an outside facility, and it's scary to see that I think it's 5% of the supplement world does third-party testing, and having a supplement that has no gluten, no casein, no binding agents, no preservatives, no GMOs. How are these things in our supplements? It's crazy. It's really crazy. I don't know if my husband's very in the UFC, very in that world and fighter world. Yeah. There was a big study, or there's a big thing about one of the fighters that tested positive for something, and it was because the supplement he was taking wasn't third-party tested, and they found something in it. But you can get things like high metals, bacteria, stuff like that, if you're not third-party testing, which is insane to me. So honestly, we created something that I was passionate about for my own daughters. I also have a 2-year-old that we're still trying to rule out and figure out what's going on, but some metabolic disorder stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just live in Dan doctor's office, gastroenterologist, allergist. We just did a full blood test looking at more potential food allergies, because she just will not eat. That's it. And we've been in and out of chalk, ambulance rides. We've had 3 in the last 3 ambulance rides, 4 ER visits, 2 hospital stays, all in the last 2.5 months. And it's been a struggle. And when I came home from the office, or from doctor's offices in the hospital, they gave me stuff ranging from L-carnitine to just all these different things that I'm supposed to be giving her. And on top of the fact she won't eat, I'm trying to give her this medicine. And I swear she was full from the medicine, all the medicines I had to give her. So one of the things that we did with our product is we put all of it in one unflavored dissolvable powder. So it's just one thing that you have to give them. And, we are dealing with kids that are on the spectrum. that have sensory issues, so that we honestly designed it with them in mind as well. So
Wow.
that's a big thing.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And it seems like, I mean, this is something that you've been passionate about since you were 16 years old, maybe even earlier. And so really, you talk to people and you see like, wow, this person is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Like, that's why they came to Earth, to do this work, to help these people, to help these children. So for our listeners who are tuning in, maybe they just got the autism diagnosis, what do you want to say to them? What's the first thing that they should be doing?
Perfect question. So that's actually one of the things that I like to talk about. So when someone gets an autism diagnosis, I would look to their local regional center, state-funded regional center. Companies like Talk About Curing Autism, that's literally what they were designed for, helping you find out what you kind of have in your area and support and stuff and support opportunities. I would then look into one of the biggest things, and I'm a board certified behavior analyst. I might be really focusing on now looking at nutrition and how important nutrition is as well. But ABA is my background, and ABA is amazing, and it has empirical research backing behind it, and insurance pays. But getting into ABA early is so important. And then speech and occupational therapy, those are all the things. And just even understanding that, like, you might have an autism diagnosis, but there's so much stuff that you can do, and kids lose their diagnosis all the time with, early intervention is key. And, there's so much stuff that you can be doing, and hope, and don't lose hope, and be that warrior mom or dad, and, go on with that. So,
that's beautiful.
And this is actually where I, once again, am so passionate. So all those things I told you that I think are so important when you get a diagnosis, but now throwing in looking at nutrition and how important nutrition is, and potential nutrient deficits. A lot of DAN doctors and biomedical doctors around here, they are especially looking at nutrient deficits such as vitamin B deficiencies, even before diagnosing autism now, because they look very similar. So looking at nutrition and how important nutrition is. And, I mentioned in the podcast earlier about me being on the phone with insurances, getting them to pay for ABA. I'm like, I feel like this is deja vu, because now here I am, and we've successfully got insurance to pay for our supplement in a few cases now.
Wow.
And this is not the norm, but it's me on the phone helping the families get insurance to pay, because they've been seeing such great results. And like I said, you can look up so many different doctors, ranging from Dr. James Adams to just other doctors, and some of their research on how important nutrition is. And like I said, our supplement actually isn't just designed for kids on the spectrum. We do have some scientific research there, but it's anyone that might have a nutrient deficit. We say kids on the spectrum just because they tend to be a little bit more finicky, picky eaters, won't eat certain colors, have sensory issues as well. So that's kind of where we are there. But we've been seeing amazing results, ranging from, parents reporting that their kids are talking much more, sleeping better, more focused, more joint attention, and just amazing things. And our goal is, if they have a supplement or taking a supplement like this and seeing such great results, maybe they won't have to be in ABA 40 hours a week, or speech and OT as much, because they're able to focus a little bit better to really take in those therapies. And I think that that's so important.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally getting their lives back, the hours of their lives that they'd be spending in therapy. They're getting that to play and do things that they want to do as kids. Like, that's amazing.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you were speaking, I was almost thinking of, kids who aren't even on the spectrum. Like, I know, friends of my children, and, they're not big eaters, or if they're eating processed foods or things that are really junky, because that's all that they'll eat. So is this something that would be safe for them to take as well, just to get that kind of healthy boost?
Absolutely. Anyone you think that might not be eating the best, like I said, I give it to my 2-year-old and 6-year-old. My 2-year-old, as of right now, the only thing that we have is we're looking at metabolic disorders and other stuff like that. We don't really know what's going on. My 6-year-old is more sensory stuff. And we thought, we don't have official diagnosis yet for ADHD, but that is definitely something we've thought about with her. But I notice her sleeping better, calmer, more focused. Like I said, those are things that I've noticed with my own daughter as well. Like I said, we created a supplement that we wanted to see.
Well, and I think that says a lot. This is something that you're giving to your own children. So clearly you believe in it. You're behind it. It's not just like, hey, buy my product, which you do see totally out there.
I totally do. So that's where I get into. So my partner, she is a functional medicine doctor, and we sent, when we first started the company, we were sending product out to people, and I have some connections with, some different people, and we sent it to Jacqueline Larita. And she was actually, I don't know if you've ever seen the show, The Real Housewives, but she's also the most amazing mom and just so passionate about helping families and just wonderful. And she tried our product and loved it and saw such a difference in her son, so much that she's like, I have to work with you guys. And she actually works with us. She does some posting. She's actually a partial owner now.
Wow.
And she's just like someone that's that passionate about your product. I think that speaks a lot about it. And that's what I want. Like other moms that are like, that just support it and are seeing a difference, and that's it. And just to get the word about how important nutrition is. Another thing about Jacqueline, she actually has now a nutrition background, is going to school for nutrition stuff. So she's just so passionate about this stuff as well and helping families. And that's where I think that we're a woman company and 3 women just running this company and just helping moms and dads and anyone that just needs extra support.
Yeah. And especially, if your kid is struggling with autism, these are the people that really do need a lot of support, need that community behind them,
Exactly.
Everyone pitching in. Oh, that's great. I love it.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're kind of coming to the end. If there was something that you wanted to leave our listeners with, one big takeaway, what would that be?
That there's hope. There's so many things that you can do, and looking at how important nutrition is and early intervention. Get an early intervention. Like I said, kids lose their diagnosis. Early intervention is key, and I wish them the best of luck. And that's it, really.
I love it. Okay, So for listeners, where can they find you online? Buy your product. Just check out more about it. Tell us all.
www.simplespectrumsupplement.com.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. Awesome, Heather. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you for the work.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. And you are such an inspiration as well. I'm so honored to be able to be on this. And I saw your stuff with TED Talks. I love all that stuff. I'm very into that stuff. I've done stuff with them as well. And like I said, I'm an advocate for helping families. That's how I got here first. So whatever it is, and empowering families, giving them knowledge, I just love that. And what you do as well, it's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like we're working together to do that. So
yes, I love it.
Thank you.
You have been listening to the Motherhood Unstressed podcast, and I'm your host, Liz Carlisle. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found the show. If you would be so kind, take 5 seconds and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. That's what notifies other people about the show and gets conversations like this out to more and more people. And I do truly believe in my heart that we are changing lives on this show and uplifting others. And that is everything. That is my purpose for being on this earth. So by you sharing and leaving a review, sharing on your Instagram, you are a part of that mission and that purpose. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Till next time.